No AI was used in the creation of the following. Hi, I'm ESP of espdigiart.com. I've been drawing my entire life, since before I can remember. My best guess as to when I started is as soon as I was physically able to pick up the art supplies and put them to paper or whatever material I was using at the time. I was the kid who in daycare, if they brought out a craft set and said, this is how you do it, the first time I would do it the so-called right way. And then that was just the first time. It wasn't unusual for me to do 2 and 3 and more different variations with that craft set, and they were never the same. At 8 years old or so, I noticed a children's exhibit at a local art show, and since I already love to draw, I wanted in. It was for children who were a few years older than me, so I just kept drawing because I already liked to draw, and that was all I could do until I got to be a bit older. However, when my earthly father heard about this, what got made very clear to me is here I had only $1 a week allowance coming in. The entry fee at that time was about $25 for 3 pictures. And we would discuss the rent for the pens only after I don't remember if it was only after I had entered or only after I had sold something, but either way, I wasn't going in knowing all the numbers up front and being told, by the way, it's a minimum of 6 months allowance plus fees on top of that. So in effect, it's the same thing. When you tell an 8-year-old girl that, you're telling them you're not allowed to make money with your art. What was ironic about all of that was that as I was being effectively forbidden from making any money from it, I was being encouraged to pursue it as a hobby. From there, things got worse. At age 7, I had already been diagnosed with an incurable medical problem that I had had since birth. Most children who have this medical problem to the severity that I have it can't speak at all. And yet, I was speaking younger than most children. Unlike most people who have this condition, I was able to get my driver's license. Now, I did get it late. I got it at age 20, and I got it passing the driver's test the first time. I had so many problems in school that in high school I just simply had to be homeschooled part-time. And even though cognitively I'm slightly ahead of my peers at the time, and then I was also in a situation where I had all these other problems, I became the first student in several years who was a special needs or special ed student to actually take the most advanced drawing classes that high school offered. It was also during that time that I was introduced to some incredibly basic web design and some of the computer graphics courses. While everyone wanted to see me take my computer skills to the next level, one thing nobody wanted to see me do ever was actually practice those computer skills outside of either the classroom or being someone else's employee. However, that's where the disorder that I had becomes really relevant. When I was in my early 20s, I actually did have a job for a while. I had it under special circumstances, and the thing is, I learned in that time that being employed was just not a viable option for me. So there was a lot of very destructive stuff that went on with my health. There was a lot of stuff where I finally had to sit down and do the math on how much I could make, and I had to realize I was in effect going to destroy my health to never be able to support myself if I continued down the road of trying to be someone else's employee. It didn't matter what I was doing. It did not matter if I got more training. It didn't matter what that training was in. There was no version of events where I was going to do anything other than destroy my health to not be able to support myself if I continued down that road. So at age 22, what do you do with that? Especially if you're not just content to live poor for the rest of your life. And believe me, I wasn't. It turns out you pick the one thing you love and the one thing you know how to do and could see yourself continuing to do pretty much regardless of what else is going on in life, as long as you have the time and the energy. And you say, how can I turn that into any chance whatsoever to make money? Even if I make nothing, how can I give myself the chance? How can I make anything in my life better, or at least put myself in a position to? Now, that whole thing at age 22 was more of a solidification of something that had been coming for a long time. And the thought process and the formation of the idea for espdigiart.com and what I'd like to do with it, that started much earlier. In 2012, I started espdigiart.com. And since then, I've gone on to do a lot of fun things with my artwork. And I know that I have many more fun things with my art yet to come. If you would like to help keep an artist from starving, and or you just simply like what you hear, please subscribe, and I'll see you next video.